Well, hello guys, I hope you're doing good. I did not plan on filming this video. I thought the only video I was going to film for this channel before I leave on my trip is my packing vlog and doing a whole bunch of things before I leave on this crazy adventure next Monday. But I felt like sitting down and just off the cuff shooting a real talk video here for you guys because I have had a transformative couple of days where I am left a little bit speechless because of how a few turn of events have changed my mind about how I try to emotionally protect myself, thinking that it's necessary and it's like what I have to do, and in reality I think it's actually keeping me from connecting with people that I might not necessarily connect with. So I'll get into the explanation of that in just a minute, but also I just wanted to film because I feel so good right now. It has been a journey, as you guys have seen if you've been watching my channel for a few years, that I've overall never been this happy consistently to just be alive and to do what I'm doing, even with all the uncertainties that come with it, and facing so many disappointments. Even though so many great things have definitely changed over the last 2 years and my career is going in wonderful ways that I never anticipated, but I still, of course, face things not going right, having, certain expectations not work out, having doubt in myself, and, facing rejection, all that fun stuff. But overall, like, I just feel like I'm finally starting to be able to appreciate life in so many different aspects and not have all this baggage of anxiety and just feeling so weighed down and feeling so afraid of certain things happening. It's very hard to be happy when you're constantly carrying all that kind of stuff, and in many different ways I've been really able to begin to let all that go. And so when I'm in these types of states like I am right now, like, I honestly just feel like, thank you, thank you. This is what I would like to feel more and more. This is how I want to approach life. This is the person that I want to be. This is how I want to live this life. And so the past couple of days have given me like a lesson and a half that I didn't anticipate, because I feel like I'm a fairly self-aware person and I know my triggers. I know the situations that usually will get more of a reaction out of me than others, and I feel like I know myself fairly well. And so an epiphany that I had this week that I just did not at all see in myself before, but when I look back on the evidence, I'm like, holy cow, like, this is actually a thing that I've been doing. And that thing is having a great aversion to confrontation. I don't mean I haven't had really difficult conversations or been mad at people, obviously, and confronted them. Obviously I have. Sometimes confrontations, they're kind of thrust upon you, so to say. I don't mean that. I mean I avoid confrontation as in actually being like honest in those scenarios about why I'm mad. I usually deflect the shitty feeling onto that person's actions, instead of owning up to the fact that what it did at the end of the day is hurt my feelings, or that I feel a certain way. So it's the vulnerability in the confrontation that makes me very uncomfortable. And looking back on so many important situations, because it's usually with the people who mean the most to you where the stakes feel much higher than just some random person, right? So I've looked back on some hard conversations that I've had with people I love or people who I'm scared to be rejected by. And very rarely have I truly just told them, you know, how I feel, and kind of left all the actions and all the you should have done this, you should have done that, you know, at the door, and just said, I feel hurt right now. Totally owning up to, you know, what's going on inside of me, and not put on this strong, you know, intense sort of I have to win in this argument type of facade. And I've not only had the realization of that this week, but I've had a few situations happen that totally took me by surprise in how they turned out, because going into them, I was not looking forward to it. I had one situation that I've had to go in before that usually like doesn't sit with me well, and I've never really addressed why it doesn't make me feel good, and I kind of put up you know, a barrier when having to deal with this person. And it was so weird because something inside of me just said to let it go, to just bring the wall down, and to just really tell this person how I feel. And it also told me to put away the assumption that this person had some kind of negative, ulterior sort of motives, because if I'm honest, I was kind of making them out to be this villainous type of character. And so I just put it aside, and I tried to be as present as possible in the conversation we were having. And I really tried to treat this person how I would want to be treated, even though it's an uncomfortable sort of circumstance. And I tried to, you know, uplift them as much as possible, even though a part of myself was in pain. And it was so crazy to me that my relationship with that person not only totally changed by the end of that conversation, but I realized that their motives and, you know, what they were doing in reality was not the same story that I had been kind of telling myself in my head, of making them out to be this bad guy and focusing on you know, us all having the humanness to make mistakes and, you know, just not be our best self sometimes, and to just have compassion for that. And like, it was crazy. It was crazy how I thought I would be leaving that conversation emotionally drained and exhausted because I didn't want to go to it. I didn't want to deal with it, but, you know, I kind of had to. But instead, I like left on a high of not only feeling like that relationship had been repaired and that we were in such a better place now, but that I was able to feel like I genuinely helped that person, because they were going through some, you know, difficult things too. And just feeling really good about myself that I had expressed how I was feeling. I didn't do it in like a super defensive way. I just, you know, said like, this is what it is. I put myself out there. I was vulnerable, and I was met with so much love and appreciation. So it just made me think that, like, my God, all these years, have I been thinking that by protecting myself emotionally and by pushing people away, maybe prematurely, I really have been doing myself a big disservice, and, you know, doing them a disservice as well, because maybe we could have actually had a really great relationship or conversation, or just gotten things out in the open, if we would have just been brave enough to be honest about how we were feeling and not attack the other person and blame them for everything. So I'm not saying that everybody is going to be able to meet you in that vulnerability, but I think it doesn't hurt to try, you know? and to just try your best to know that usually if somebody's being mean to you or being rude to you, it's rarely personal. You know, usually they have so much pain and, you know, heaviness inside of themselves that that's all that really can come out of them at that point in time, you know. So I have began to not take those types of things as personal, and it's just been amazing to me how sometimes when I'm faced with those really uncomfortable situations that I'm disappointed by, and I feel like these people have let me down, or, you know, there's some other uncomfortable aspect about our relationship, and instead of running away from it, instead of labeling that person as the problem or the villain or blaming them for, you know, how I feel, and instead just saying, well, like, this is what it is. How can I face it in an open, honest, and loving way? Because sometimes what's done is done, you know, people hurt others or things don't go as you would have planned, but where do you go from there? Do you run away from the situation? Do you, you know, name call that person and just try and make them feel as bad about themselves as possible? Or do you take that higher road and just be in the discomfort of opening your heart to another person and giving them an opportunity to prove you wrong? Because I have been proved wrong. Like, in the past couple of days, I thought that I had certain situations pegged as being this one thing, and greatly detesting having to deal with them and thinking that it was going to be so bad and so horrible and all of these types of things. Like, I created my own suffering just in the anticipation of the situation. But thankfully, when I actually got into the situation, I was like, this isn't so bad. This is all right. You know, this is going totally different than I thought it would go, and wow, I am learning so much. So I feel really good about my life right now. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, but I really am just amazed that maybe life doesn't have to be the way that my mind sometimes make me scared that it's going to be. Maybe it's not such a scary place here. Maybe, you know, people don't have the worst intentions towards us. Maybe we're all just trying to figure things out and stumbling along the way, and, you know, it's actually really helpful when people can help you up and, you know, walk that road together. So that is my video. That is what I wanted to say, and there will be another video later this week about me getting ready for my trip, which I'm so excited for. I have my suitcase halfway packed, and yeah, I've got a lot of things happening this week. I have TIFF going on, Toronto International Film Festival, so I'm gonna go to a couple parties, do a little bit of networking. I have some other business collaborations to do, which I'm excited for, and yep, just basically get ready for this amazing adventure and make some great content for you guys. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. I hope you guys are doing great, and I'm sending you so much love. Bye guys.